I'm not just gonna stay here and wait. I wanna just decide what is to be my fate. Alone all by myself, I'm not just gonna stay here and wait.
Good morning, everybody. Look and see, it's Olive on the screen again. She's sound asleep on her chair. How the hell are you,
Sweetie.
Verbo?
I'm alright. How you doing today, Jim?
I am stressed and stressed and stressed and stressed. Because it's
That's
one of those days.
bad.
We have not, the newscast is gonna be late tonight. I'm not done rendering it yet. And, it'll go out after the All-Star, Saturday on a Saturday show. Probably immediately afterwards, I'll make it go live. And, yeah, it's gonna be a fun night, because we'll get into it with our first story of the day, with some announcements coming up. One of the big announcements that's not in that story is we are changing the time of Week in Review. Week in Review had previously been 6 a.m. Pacific time. And I know that it's 6 a.m. Pacific time, 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. where it counts, 7 a.m. Mountain, because someone said something loudly and threatened to make me eat fruits and vegetables, like real ones. Unless it was changed. Yes.
Horrible.
So,
not delicious at all.
I mean, come on. That's just... Are you trying to kill me? I know what I'm not allergic to. If you make me eat real fruits and vegetables, I may just fall over and die.
A potato never killed you. You can eat French fries.
Potatoes weren't vegetables. Aren't they just starches?
Tubers? I don't know. There's vitamins and minerals in a potato.
All I know is we're moving the time to noon Eastern, 11 o'clock Mountain, 10 o'clock, or 11 o'clock where it counts, 10 o'clock Mountain, and 9 o'clock on the West Coast. Just to make that person not make us eat horrible things. Horrible
it was
things.
Very, very early on the West Coast. So if you wanted concurrent viewership, you were not going to get the West Coast viewership.
Yeah, we were getting about 10 people. And
yeah,
it's not like it's an important show, but it's the Week in Review. We put it up. It goes hour and a half to 2.5 hours, depending on what happened that week. And it's meant just so you get the news. If it's meant to be like a long podcast where you put it on as background noise and it's on. You know, you do stuff during it, you cook or whatever. And, Arby's curly fries. Squirrel! Sorry. And, it's not the most important show in the world, but it is a show that we offer in case you don't want to just go through and marathon everything we offer. Anyway, let's jump into number one, as it's Clown Day today. You know why it's Clown Day for today? Do you know why?
No.
Because our own Westboro Wes inspired it. So 3 of the 4 stories are all clowns today.
GoFundMe, Press with Rancor takes day.
Jose Chile de Castro's fundraiser for Garrett Press with Rancor dominated Friday's GoFundMe take with $1,530 in new donations from a late-evening fundraiser, with de Castro promising to match the funds from his own personal bank account. As we're looking at his win over in its own article, we're going to be focusing on our own second-place win and some changes associated with the production of the newspaper and daily newscast. Our fund took in $200 for the second-place win, not to take anything from de Castro's great victory or to overinflate what went on with our own win yesterday. It was from a donor making an easier donation to our GoFundMe rather than figuring out exactly what we needed for flea treatment of the cats off of our animal-related Amazon registry. We'll probably be taking in more donations like that, so it's not reflective of the overall health of our campaign, as we had another large donation earlier in the week for a targeted donation with a specific purpose. As always, you'll see receipts over on our Discord server in the dedicated receipts channel. Right now, the receipt for the flea treatment is up, along with some of the purchases we've made with the donation from earlier in the week. We're looking into moving as many of our ongoing expenses into yearly expenses and getting them out of the way for the next year as more donations come in. Then we'll be focusing on expanding our purchases to one more big item for the fall. News forthcoming. Please know that this is a huge change, as my life is currently on display to everyone. While incidental purchases aren't accounted for, occasional fast food meals, buying a $5 movie off of Fandango at home, etc., showing the work and where the donations are going to is pretty much a requirement based on the actions of the person who ran our previous home. While we weren't involved in his activities, it is important to be as transparent and boring as possible with transactions so there's no question as to where the money is going as donations are made. There's more news we'll sneak in here, as the column is more often hijacked for everything but the focus of the article anyway. De Castro threw us off this morning as he actually had things to say in his 3-hour live stream. Starting at 9 p.m. Eastern, or right when we needed to go to bed to be up for 3 a.m., he went on for 90 minutes of semi-meaningful news in between his babble about donations. This, of course, killed us at 3 a.m. Do you know how hard it is to be up that early and then having to sit through Chile de Castro's babble? I know it's our job, but mornings like this sidetrack everything. I know, it's awful that I must watch the actual source before doing the article. But seriously, late in the evening news kills our workflow and kills the chances for getting the news out before noon on most days. It's also a change that is playing havoc with our scheduling, and I apologize for it. I signed up to do a newspaper. Everything else sort of morphed out of that, and I'm trying to get into a regular release pattern for fans of the old paper and our new YouTube presence. With the change from putting out a daily newspaper to doing a daily newspaper and a daily newscast in widescreen format, then a watch-along party in vertical format, and needing to fall over dead asleep at 6 a.m., it's certainly a change. In the past, I could get away with writing 2 or 3 pages total for the newspaper and be done with it. Now 2 pages means 3.5 to 4 minutes of airtime. We average between 14 and 17 minutes per newscast, so our page count comes in between 6 and 8 pages a day, depending on how fast I read everything. That doubling to quadrupling written content to feed the newscast is what's killing the early morning paper, and again I apologize for it. Trying to shuffle the hours in the day to figure out how I can do everything, as I can't afford help, and I know I'm too much of a control freak to work with everyone. Adding Verbo to the newscast watch party has helped, and quietly giving the all-star panels over to the panel to dominate is also helping a bit. It's out of necessity, and it's a lot of fun to see who's stepping up and running the shows as I push play on the videos in the background. I may just shift focus to the overnight hours and start production and go all night again. I need to do something to change things so those who love the paper in the morning aren't forgotten. That's important to me, and I'll work out a plan to make sure things are course corrected as I move forward. On that note, if you'd like to step up for a missing in action hate watcher, hey, hope you're okay, you bastard. In forcing us to continue to write this column each morning, we do have a GoFundMe of our own. All proceeds go to keeping the lights on, eating, and writing new stories to feature here and on reallycoolsite.org. And we're out of that one, so we're back to news, folks. I know we scared off 6 people during that one. My godmother is doing better. Last I heard, she was getting speech back and working on the slurring that came afterwards. So, wow, we lost 10 people now, it says. Wow. No more long speeches to begin the show. I'll remember that. Yes.
Noted.
But welcome back, everybody. Yeah, she is doing somewhat better. She does have another surgery next week, and hopefully everything comes along fine. Yeah, and remember, it's Clown Day today. Clown Day.
Maybe that's why we lost 10. Maybe Clown Day wasn't driving well.
Well, let's try a non-clown story then. Though, let's face it, the next subject is kind of going to gross people out anyway. But anyway, let's dive into it. Continues to endorse sex tourism. A new video released on Floyd Wallace's foreign only YouTube channel saw the YouTuber continue his endorsement of sex tourism and shared his thoughts on women from third world countries, dating, and the struggle with time. The new video was taken from an interview with YouTuber Jamie Woods earlier in the year and focused on the question of how Wallace deals with relationships with women in the countries he visits, despite knowing that he could not stay in the countries past 90 days. Wallace was candid that he ensures that the women he enters into sexual relationships with know that he is not going to be a long-time love and that he has no intention of honoring a commitment to them when he's away from them. The YouTuber explained that he felt like life is too short to wait for sex and relationships with one person, especially if you can only be present in their country for a small portion of the year. He indicated that he preferred sexual transactions instead of a long-term relationship, and that he could not see himself settling down anytime soon, as sexual encounters with women in third world countries were plentiful and required minimal effort on his part. Wallace recently indicated in other videos that it was too much work in the United States to satisfy his sexual needs, even with pay to play on the table. He stated that he preferred finding sexual partners in third world countries due to the willingness of the women to bed an American. He praised the lifestyle as he could return to a country multiple times and experience new and different women each time without repercussion. The YouTuber called out Argentina as a country that black men should avoid visiting, as he had a horrible experience entering the country. He claimed that Argentinian authorities demanded to see his bank account balance after seeing that he was not carrying cash. They wanted to prove that he was not broke and to establish that he was an American and not from a nation from an unspecified country in Africa. Wallace described women in Argentina as being discriminatory towards black men, and that one woman he attempted to cold approach simply ran off when he attempted to get her Instagram and WhatsApp contact details. Explaining that he left the country soon after that encounter, Wallace warned his fellow sex travelers to be aware of being labeled a sex pest in countries outside of the United States because it could result in unwanted jail time. Wallace has previously asserted that he was going to be visiting Colombia as the next stop on his continuing sex tourism schedule.
I'm sorry, did you just casually say sex pest and unwanted jail time? Just
Yes.
threw it out there.
Oh, God!
I just wanted to make sure that I was catching that right. Yeah.
Yeah, he if you're a sex pest, you can go to jail. Think of that.
Wow.
Lord.
I wonder if it's a combination of him being absolutely incapable of like interfacing with another human in like a meaningful way, or does he like something so repugnant, disgusting, unwanted, that like it needs to be purchased because the people that actually like that are far and few between, or like a
Well,
combination of it.
remember the he revealed a couple weeks ago that his first time he paid for it. And his first encounter was with an unwilling woman who took his money and basically laid there on her back doing nothing the whole time till he finished. And that was
Oh
his first
God.
encounter with sex.
Oh.
So, yeah. I mean, he didn't get the point. The lady didn't participate. So,
Yeah.
he still finished and I'm like, "Ew, dude,
Oh.
that's
Yeah, I guess if
just..."
you like corpse in it or something, but like that's also awful, you know?
And yeah, he complains that some of these countries the women are like that, but some of his partners don't speak English. Are we sure that they're actually willing participants? You know,
Right. Right.
I
Because
I don't know.
you can pay someone for their special time with you, and they can also be unwilling participants for some stuff. Like they're not
Yeah,
mutually exclusive ideas. Yeah.
and it's just uh, I don't know. He's
Yeah.
just so casual about it. Like, oh, I can't get in the United States. I gotta go over there because it's so cheap. You know, I can
I don't know,
get.
man. When an entire country of women are all saying the same thing to you, maybe it's time to open your ears and listen.
Yeah, and what the hell is it about? Why does he think that every date has to be $500? It's in his brain that he has to take someone out for $500 dates in the United States,
Listen,
and
I had
that's
a
his
second date once where I met the guy in a park, and the guy had money, so it wasn't a money thing. I met the dude in a park. We brought things that could only fit in thermoses. That was one of the rules. The second
right,
rule is we had to bring a show and tell item and have an interesting story to go along with it. And I rolled around on the grass laughing and eating like some sort of chili thing he made out of a thermos and had the best time.
right.
That
He
cost like $15 at most between the two of us.
All of the passport bros have the same story that women in America cost too much money. A date costs too much to have any fun. And then you're not sure if you get any sex out of it because women in America have too much power. And it's like, what the hell? Dude.
For the third date with that guy, I brought him to an art show, which was of my very favorite internet cat, Little Bub. And
Okay.
there was lithographs and stuff you can buy. We bought fun freaking lithographs. I bought a little bub book that had a paw print in it and little hairs in it, and it was adorable.
Right.
And like I still have that stuff. I love it. I like the time that we had. Again, even with our purchases that we made with our own money, that was maybe $100 date, maybe at most, and we had stuff to bring home with us to have forever.
Right. I mean, it's good
Maybe.
memories. It's good building towards an actual relationship. But
Hmm.
they don't see it as anything more than transactions. You know, they're not building to have a relationship. They're building to have a
Well,
sex partner, and that's it.
you can't put a quarter in a lady and have an action come out. That's just not how any of that works.
She's not Pac-Man. She's not Pac-Man,
No.
bro. Not Pac-Man. That's
No.
Oh, let's hit our next one. Let's see, what disturbing one do we have now?
Castro fundraising dominates this day in history.
Whoops, wrong one. Let's go. That's the last one for the day, because that one has some disturbing, even more disturbing things. Let's go to this one. Castro holds mediocre fundraiser for Rancer. An admittedly broke Jose Chili de Castro attempted to stun everyone with a return to his supposed massive talents and fundraising on Friday night, with an unsuccessful attempt to put a dent in the $30,000 he owes for Garrett Press with Ranker's Van Net's legal bills. Despite de Castro's previous claims of being the greatest fundraiser in history, his endeavors took in approximately $1,530 during his 3-hour fundraiser. He split the 3-hour show with 90 minutes dedicated to Press with Ranker's story and an interview with Press with Ranker's lawyer, Jim Mikowski, and the rest devoted to anti-police videos. The YouTuber explained that Ranker decided to start auditing based on de Castro's own call for action, and he feels responsible that Ranker, who is an extreme introvert, is facing problems with the law. De Castro explained that because of this, he would be matching all funds brought in during the fundraiser with money from his own bank account, despite struggling for funds of his own at the moment. De Castro feigned shock at Mikowski's news that the officer involved in Ranker's current arrest was the same one involved in a previous incident with Ranker. He continued the exaggerated reaction as Mikowski revealed that Ranker had experienced run-ins with the officer's father, also a police officer, and that the officer's sister works in the office of the prosecutor who is trying the case. This new theory of generational conspiracy to frame Ranker for the crimes he's on trial for is information that had been previously featured many times by de Castro in live streams and in produced videos for the channel. Ranker is facing felony charges of obstructing an officer and refusing to obey a lawful command from an arrest in Michigan last year. Mikowski painted Ranker's huge body frame, social awkwardness, and introvert status as factors in Ranker's arrests. He described Ranker as a sweet man who was socially challenged and not a perceived contract with attorney Mikowski earlier in the year, signing a contract to pay $6,000 a month to cover Van Net's legal expenses. He's incarcerated in the Clark County, Nevada Detention Center. While Mikowski agreed to suspend payments while de Castro was incarcerated, jury selection for the trial begins on Tuesday. He felt strongly that he would be able to find a non-biased jury, despite Ranker's supposed extreme fame in the tiny community on Michigan's Upper Trial in support of Ranker, despite previous promises to make an appearance. Ranker's GoFundMe had also not received de Castro's matching donations as of press time. Okay then, so Press with Ranker is such a superstar, that it's tiny. All of that.
UP is not a huge place.
But it's big enough. It's actually a huge place in comparison to what they're saying. Okay. Everybody knows his name.
Oh no,
everybody knows
that's
his name.
True.
So they're going to have trouble getting a jury.
Right. I mean, how many people live in the UP in comparison to Montana? Is it about the same? I feel like it's not a ton of people. It's kind of inhospitable up there.
It's I don't know the numbers for sure, but it's kind of bigger than what they're saying. He's comparing it to Alaska Baroness, and it's not like that.
Oh.
I do have friends who actually live there.
Yeah, Alaska's huge. Okay, weird.
Yeah, huge. Alaska is huge and spread out, and there are tiny communities all over the place. But yeah, not like this where they're saying, "Oh, there's nobody living up there," and it's like, yes, there are. It's fine. But the other takeaway from that was that the lawyer was just parroting everything that de Castro has said for the past year. Everything was saying. And folks, we understand if you want to jump at 7 o'clock because NCR has a special going on over on his channel. We've got one more story. It's a short one. We're gonna
Mhm.
jump into that. But
Yeah.
yeah, go over to NCR's to see what he's doing. He's something about a flamingo. That's all I
But we
know.
got 3 minutes. We got
Yes,
3 minutes. If we get through the last one, everybody can catch everything.
A year ago
let's
today,
jump into
Jose
it.
Chile de Castro announced that he was temporarily suspending his successful fundraising efforts on behalf of Jason and Heather Dollahide, as he had covered the family's bills for the month. Before suspending the campaign, de Castro had encouraged his fans to skip meals and put aside petty purchases in order to come up with the money to help Heather Dollahide to raise the money for her husband's bond. De Castro then openly encouraged Heather Dollahide to invest all the money that had been raised for bond on her husband's behalf into retaining a lawyer who would work on releasing her husband. He then dismissed her fears that giving all the money to the lawyer would take away all the money she had for the actual bond. The YouTuber had a busy day as his legal effort on behalf of Floyd Wallace's then ongoing lawsuit against the Las Vegas Metro Police Department was granted an extension to respond to the LVMPD's motion to dismiss the case. The LVMPD did not oppose the motion. De Castro had previously denied having any involvement in Wallace's case, despite the case itself being filed by De Castro, paid for by De Castro, and having against the LVMPD. The motion was also odd as it contained objections to police describing Wallace, a black man, as black, the color of the mask at him during his apprehension. Outside of the world of Jose Chile de Castro, YouTuber Christopher Direct D. Ruff encourages 236,000 subscribers to call flood the at the Mesa, Arizona Police Records Department. Ruff was upset that the records office was unable to release documents to a proxy. Due to department policy, the records department was unable to fulfill the request for 700 pages of information Ruff's watching activities. Under department policy, the original requester of the documents needed to pick up the documents in person as they contained confidential information. Ruff was unable to pick the documents up himself as there was an active warrant for his arrest in Mesa for skipping court dates. The YouTuber felt unsafe picking up the documents as he would then be apprehended. It is still active a year later, with Ruff recently abandoning efforts to raise money for an attorney to help him clear up the warrants.
And that was the quick one. The only real thing I note on that one was the fact that Chile had been telling people not to
Yeah.
eat and not to buy things, to give all the money to the Dollahides.
Nope. I would like to reiterate again that any donations you make to any YouTubers or anybody like that should be out of your fund budget, discretionary budget, whatever that is, should not have a negative impact on you. You should not lower your quality of life. And in fact, it should bring you joy to do it. It should be a positive experience.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't fall, participation is enough. Viewing, liking, spreading the word, and putting input into YouTube to make the algorithm pick it up more. Those are all very important pieces. So thank you.
And, I know I'm always talking about GoFundMe campaigns and all that, but if you notice, I haven't even been running the scroll lately. I either forget to know how you can donate. If you want to donate, and folks like Greg will stick it in the chat, but we're not making it over the top, and you damn well should not be skipping meals just to support this channel.
No, or anybody. Nobody.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's just a little bit crazy. And Westboro, I think it's you. I'm hearing things fine, but I'm on stage. Anywho, we're out of here in a second. Please go over to NCR's if you know the link and see what's up for him. On that note, the newscast will be about an hour with the All-Star panel at 8 o'clock Eastern, and then hopefully the newscast will be up after that. Any last words, Verbo?
I'll see you guys later.
Okay, let's do our generic end credits and get out of here. Olive slept through the whole show.
That was a job. Duh.
So if anyone has suggestions, put them over in the